Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to the Bible study. We are at the end of Deuteronomy. We should wrap up Deuteronomy today and maybe even get a little bit into Joshua, which is so exciting. So, hello, lovely people. Welcome to the Bible study. We are reading the King James Version of the Holy Bible. This is my Bible. This is what it looks like. Don't be alarmed. I got stuff sticking out. That's, from my mind. But we are doing a cover to cover read of the Holy Bible. And I know we don't speak the King's English anymore, but not to worry. We take our time, we break it down, we go slow so that nobody's left out. Nobody is feeling like, what is she saying? Right? We understand. We don't just read just to read. We read to understand so we can understand the concepts, understand context, and also understand God's character as well. So that is what this Bible study is all about. And we start the same way every single time. Every single time we start with a prayer and then we go into a recap so nobody lost. And then after the recap, we hop right into reading our cover to cover read. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with our prayer. Let's get our minds right. Let's set the scene. So, Father God, we are grateful. We are grateful to you for just being here, being alive, being able to share with each other in this community, and having this Bible study. Father God, we ask that you would be with us during this Bible study. We ask that you would remove any confusion, open up our understanding, pull something out of this to be our daily bread, and most importantly, allow this Bible study to draw us closer to you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. All right. I am so excited because if you are just now joining us, welcome. We are doing a cover to cover read of the Holy Bible. Now, if that shocked you and you like, oh snap, I would love to do that. Where are they? Don't worry. We do have a YouTube channel and the link is in my bio for you to be able to click on the YouTube channel and catch up, right? All of the Bible studies are saved there, so not to worry. But tonight is that one epic night that will only happen about 62 more times because there are 66 books in the Bible and we've only read 5 so far. So today is one of those epic times where we are finishing a book of the Bible, and it is so exciting. We have been reading through Deuteronomy, and in Deuteronomy, which means the second law, we are witnessing Moses sit and talk to the people, and he's talking to the people about everything that they've gone through over the last 40 years. Everything that they've gone through, right? All of the ups and the downs, lots and lots and lots of downs, y'all. to no fault of anybody's but their own, right? Just the children of Israel, they just prefer to be down. They just prefer to complain. That's their preference, right? So to each his own, God has been carrying them, providing for them, making sure that they have everything they need plus, right? So Moses even talked about that, right? Moses even mentioned to them, make a choice. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all keep saying y'all love God. We repent and then y'all go right back. Make a choice. Doggone it. Right? Like it's getting out of hand. And Moses is talking to the people and he says to them, how else could we have gotten all of this? Right? How else could we have won these battles? We shouldn't have won these battles. We farmers. You know what I mean? Like, we were slaves. There's no way we could have won these battles. How else could we have gone 40 years without a new pair of clothes, without a new pair of shoes? Ain't nothing wrong with you. They look brand new. That had to be God. Right? So Moses is trying to bring them into the reality of their situation. He is trying to keep them from taking for granted all of these like super natural, super spiritual, super wonderful, super terrific things that have been happening. He's trying to keep them from like letting that be normal. He like, yo, this is not normal. People don't live like this. People don't just live with bread falling from heaven. Sweet honey bread every day and twice on Fridays. Like it don't, this ain't normal. It has to be God. What you know what I mean? So this is what Moses is stressing to the children of Israel. He even had to stress that. He like, yo, like if you really think about it, this is not a normal life that we live. There's no way we could have done this. There's no way we could have made it this far. There's no way we could be staring down this beautiful city full of all of the good stuff. We ain't gotta build nothing. We ain't gotta watch no cattle. We ain't even gotta decorate, honey. We could just walk in and take it because God said it's ours. There is no way we should be able to do this. It's God. So one of the reasons he's reminding them of that, well, another reason I should say, because we already talked about the first reason, which is don't let this become commonplace. Like this is not common. This is not just something that you can just get used to, put your hands behind your head and be like, cool, we kicking it. Right? This is extraordinary. So Moses is stressing this to them. Another reason he's stressing this to them is because they have a tendency to get real curious about everything else other than God. Right? God is doing all of this great stuff for the children of Israel, and they keep getting curious about everything else. Again, part of that is because they have made God common. He's not common. He's not like, this is not normal that you're experiencing all of these wonders on a daily basis. But they have made God commonplace. And so Moses really kind of reprimands them for making God commonplace. And he like, you don't make God into just something that's common or something that's small. Like God is great. He's amazing. He's wonderful. He's blessing. He's increasing. He's all of the things, right? His character is amazing. The way he loves us is amazing. Everything about him is amazing. Don't make him so commonplace that it's like, what else is out there? Right? And then you off serving other gods, getting distracted away from the traditions, away from how God has really kind of weaved himself into the fabric of their lives, right? Down to the way that they eat, the way that they dress, and the fact that they wear tassels. Everything that they do has a meaning. And so Moses is reminding them of that. Moses is reminding them of the standard that God has for his people and how it sets them aside. Because ain't nobody else living like that. Ain't nobody else treating each other right. They're not nice to each other. They're trying to, everybody is, out for themselves, right? May the best man win. Right? And so God has brought this standard that don't look like that. It doesn't look like that at all. It looks like them taking care of the poor, taking care of the widow, taking care of the, what did he say? The widow, the stranger, and the fatherless, right? They have sanctuary cities for those who are running and need help. And the sanctuary cities are very similar to like sanctuary cities that we have today, or like a witness protection program that we would have in place today. God is telling them, set up these sanctuary cities. Take care of the people that need help. He's telling them, don't cheat each other. Don't charge each other interest, right? So if they borrow from you, just let them give you what they borrowed. Don't charge them extra on top. And they like, what? This is all brand new to them, right? But this is the standard that God wants them to keep. He also is sharing with them these holidays, these holy days, these times for celebration, for them to just celebrate and just have a good time and just rejoice in all of the things that God has done for them and all of the remembering of him bringing them out of the Egypt and just everything. Just reflect just sit and reflect and enjoy and celebrate and play the horns and sing songs, right? He's given them a year of Jubilee, right? The year of Jubilee has to be coming up in like 10 years because he gave it to them around that second year that they were leaving out of or that they had left out of Egypt. And then they had the 40-year sentence after that. So that's 42. So it's got to be it's got to be somewhere around, the 10 year. In 10 years they're going to be celebrating the year of Jubilee. Right? So they have that to look forward to. That's a celebration. That is the time where everybody gets their stuff back. Right? It's almost like this I don't want to call it a Thanksgiving because I don't want that to pop in your head of like how we celebrate, but it's really a holiday in which the people who have borrowed, who were poor, who needed all of this help and all of this boost, right? Even though they got this help and this boost through these years by being able to sell things and different things like that, God has said in the year of Jubilee they get everything back. There's some stipulations there, and all those types of things, but they get everything back. So God is really setting the people up for increase, because in order for them to get that back, they have to have somewhere to go with it. So they get their houses back, they get the cattle back, whatever they were selling, the jewelry, things, they got to have somewhere to go with it. And so we see Moses talking to the people about all of this increase, and now the year of Jubilee makes sense. Right? Because God is going to increase in their land and in everything that they got. And then in this year of Jubilee, when they start getting stuff back and everything is starting to be redistributed and everything, then it's like everybody has that basis that they can start of. Everybody's not going to have the same amount of everything, right? That's just not ever going to happen. But everybody gets to start with this baseline of, how should I put this? A baseline of content. Right? Like everybody's content. What you have is perfect for you. It's perfect for you. Right? Somebody else might have more. Somebody else might have less. That ain't none of your business. What your business is right here. And this is perfect for you. Right? and so everything that God is saying to them, as we hear Moses talking to them by inspiration of God, right? It makes perfect sense because we see, oh, God said, ain't nobody gonna be poor. The brethren, their brothers, they cousins, the family, they not gonna be poor. It might be people poor outside, but not them. So now it makes sense. Oh, okay, I get it. I see, because now everybody gets their stuff back. They got the increase, the land, and all of the things. Oh, I see how God has them working with each other. So nobody is gonna come through the year of Jubilee, and now you got interest to pay and all of. So now we get to see God's plan coming together for them. And Moses is stressing to them, don't mess this up. Don't do it. Right? Don't do it. Don't mess this up, because God has a plan for you. Right? And then Moses, he throw it out there a couple times when he can. I can't even see it. Right? So I'm gonna need y'all to not just enjoy it, but to keep it. Hold on to the promise of God. A lot of times we forget about that part. You're so busy being blessed, but you never ask God, how do I keep this? How do I hold on to it? How do I multiply? How do I make sure this don't slip through my fingers? And that's what Moses is trying to get into their heads. Don't let this slip through your fingers. There are consequences to that. And we read that in chapter 28 of Deuteronomy. The curses that can come if they don't follow God. And unfortunately, not only will we witness a lot of those curses come into pass as we continue to read, but we can see a lot of that stuff right now. All you got to do is just look out the window, and you can see a lot of those curses taking place right now. So he's warning them at the same time. The last piece about Deuteronomy that I want to bring to y'all attention is that with that warning is grace. Because warnings are grace. Warnings are grace because he doesn't have to warn them. And he, meaning God. God, well, we talked about Deuteronomy chapter 28 and how that was just straight up prophetic word. coming from Moses, right? But we understood that God has anointed Moses on several occasions, right? And even anointed another 70 men with the Holy Ghost, so that they could, and they started speaking in tongues, right? So that they could manage the people with wisdom. So we understand that, Moses has had these encounters with God, all of these things. So we understand Moses' position. We understand that God has used Moses on several occasions. And in chapter 28, it was no different. And the fact that God used Moses to give a warning to the people is nothing but grace, because he doesn't have to. He could have just sat back, folded his hands, and said, we shall see what happens. But instead, he gives them a warning. He tells them, don't do this. You don't want this type of fate. I'm trying to save you from yourself, from your wicked hearts, from your evil thoughts. I'm trying to save you. I'm trying to say, I can already see it, and I'm trying to save you. Right? So we see even peppered throughout here where Moses is reiterating to me, he's just like trying to beat this into their heads. Like, come on, y'all, come on. There's so much grace and there's so much love in someone warning you. You could watch somebody trip and fall, or you can say, hey, watch your step. And for somebody to look at me and say, hey, watch your step, thank you. Thank you. Number one, I didn't want to embarrass myself out here. That's number one. Okay. Number two, I ain't feel like falling today. I just didn't feel like it. I don't know what I'm going to break. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to fall. So there's so much grace. There's so much grace in God allowing that warning to go forward for the people. Whether they took it or not, let's not get into that. Let's just talk about God's great and wonderful character, the great and wonderful character that he has. Okay, so I know that was a long recap, but Deuteronomy was a long book, right? And we are at the very end of this long book. And this is everything that we have been grasping from Deuteronomy so far. So we have to make sure that the recap is adequate. It's got to be adequate. Okay, let's get into it. We are in the last 2 chapters of Deuteronomy. I didn't doggone rip my page. I'm so excited. It's like a little tiny tear at the bottom. I said, whoops. Let's get into it. Deuteronomy chapter 33. Hold on. Long legs. Okay. Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse. Oh my goodness. I was sitting on that foot too wrong. Chapter 33, verse 1. Let's get into it. Okay. And this is the blessing wherewith Moses, the man of God, blessed the children of Israel before his death. Okay. So now a little bit more context. We may remember Aaron. When Aaron's duty was done with the children of Israel, he went up to the mount as God instructed, and he took off his vestments, right? All of his robes and everything, right? Everything that we were witnessing the construction of, right? In the end of Exodus, and how beautiful God had designed, right? God is just, I don't know why I'd be shocked, right? Because he is the creator. But then when you kind of break it down and you get to like the nitty gritty, it's like, man, God really does. He really is like the author and finisher of everything. He created his outfit and it was beautiful. It was glorious. And he passed that on to his son. After he passed it on to his son, he died. So Moses is going to be passing the torch to Joshua, and he's going to go up into the mountain, right? And he will die there. So this is happening before that. Verse 2. And he said, the Lord came from Sinai and rose up from Seir unto them. He shined forth from Mount Paran, and he came with 10,000s of saints, which means holy ones. From his right hand went a fiery law for them. Yea, he loved the people. All his saints are in thy hand, and they sat down at thy feet. Every one shall receive thy words. Moses commanded us a law, even the inheritance of the congregation of Jacob. So Jacob, again, is Israel, right? That is like his second name, right? So you know how you got like Mary Jane and like some people have two names. Just think of Jacob like just like that. Jacob Israel, right? God changed his name when he wrestled with the angel, and that new identity came with a new inheritance. It came with a new promise. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful experience that Jacob had. And God changed his name to represent this adoption into himself, God himself, and this new inheritance that, and this new blessing, this promise that Israel was going to get. So yes, we do read, we read every weeknight at 9 p.m. standard time. So you are right on time. We're just getting started into this read right here. So when you see Jacob, know that Israel is the same. Jacob and Israel is the same person. That's just God's name for Jacob, right? And he was king in Jeshurun when the heads of the people in the tribes of Israel were gathered together. Let Reuben live and not die, and let not his men be few. So now we're getting ready to name the sons of Jacob, who's also known as Israel. We're getting ready to name those sons as Moses is imparting this blessing. Verse 7, I highlighted verse 7. It says, and this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear, O Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thou an help to him from his enemies. And I highlighted that first part because we know that Jesus comes from the lineage of this particular son, Judah, right? Verse 8, and of Levi, he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with the Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massa, with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah, who said unto his father and to his mother, I have not seen him, neither did he acknowledge his brethren, nor his own children, for they have observed thy word and kept thy covenant. They shall teach Jacob, again, Israel, thy judgments, and Israel thy law. So Jacob and Israel is the same person. They shall put incense before them and whole burnt sacrifice upon thine altar. Bless, Lord, his substance, and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise against him, and of them that hate him, that they rise not again. So those so far we've named Judah, Levi, Reuben, right? Those are some of the sons of Jacob, Israel. So we're going to go through the 12 sons as Moses is continuing to bless the 12 tribes, right? And one of the things that we've done just for our knowledge as we're going back and we're reading this, and this is a different time, for context today, we know what family we belong to based on our last name, right? So what we talked about earlier when it came to these 12 sons of Jacob or Israel, is that we were kind of using that as last names, right? So we know what house they belong to: the house of Reuben, the house of Levi, the house of, Dan, and the house of Benjamin. We're going to get through all of those, right? But these are all sons that Israel had. So we're keeping everything in line for our memories. We're trying to kind of build context around it so that we can have something to relate to, right? So don't get lost in the fact that we're naming all of these people we ain't talked about in a very long time. I just wanted us to just have context for that, right? Because we're getting ready to name more of his sons, and just think of those sons as them having their own household, right? So then they have lots of children that get married and have lots of children that get married and have lots of children. But everybody sort of carries that name almost as a last name. And that's how we can think of it today. All right, so I'm going to continue to run through the blessings of the tribes of Israel. I'm just going to start at 11. Reread 11. Bless, Lord, his substance and accept the work of his hands. Smite through the loins of them that rise up against him and them that hate him, that they rise not again. And of Benjamin, he said, the beloved of the Lord shall dwell in safety by him. And the Lord shall cover him all the day long, and he shall dwell between his shoulders. And of Joseph, he said, blessed of the Lord be his hand for the precious things of heaven, for the dew, and for the deep that coucheth beneath, and for the precious fruits brought forth by the sun, and for the precious things brought forth by the moon, and for the chief things of the ancient mountains, and for the precious things of the lasting hills, and for the precious things of the earth and the fullness thereof, and for the good will of him that dwelt in the bush. Let the blessing come upon the head of Joseph and upon the top of the head of him that was separated from his brethren. His glory is like the firstling of his bullock, and his horns are like horns of unicorns. Unicorns meaning like rhinoceros with one horn. That's what you can picture. With them he shall push the people together to the ends of the earth, and they are 10,000s of Ephraim, and they are the thousands of Manasseh, and of Zebulun. He said, rejoice, Zebulun, in thy going out, and Issachar in thy tents. They shall call the people unto the mountains. There they shall offer sacrifices of righteousness, for they shall suck of the abundance of the seas and of the treasures hid in the sand. And of Gad, he said, blessed be he that enlargeth Gad. He dwelleth as a lion and teareth the arm with the crown of his head. And he provided the first part for himself, because there in portion of the lawgiver was he seated, and he came with the heads of the people. He executed the justice of the Lord and his judgments with Israel. And of Dan, he said, Dan is a lion's whelp. He shall leap from Bashan. And of Naphtali, he said, O Naphtali, satisfied with favor and full with the blessing of the Lord, possess thou the west and south. And of Asher, he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be. There is none like unto the God of Jeshurun, who rideth upon the heaven in the help, and in his excellency on the sky. The eternal God is thy refuge, and underneath are the everlasting arms, and he shall thrust out the enemy from before thee, and shall say, destroy them. Israel then shall dwell in safety alone. The fountain of Jacob shall be upon a land of corn and wine. Also, his heavens shall drop down dew. Happy art thou, O Israel, who is like unto thee. O people saved by the Lord, the shield of thy help, and who is the sword of thy excellency. And thine enemies shall be found liars unto thee, and thou shalt tread upon their high places. Now that is a heck of a blessing right there, baby. Wow. So in verse 33, Moses is going through and he's blessing the tribes of Israel. He's blessing all of the children that Jacob, Israel, had. And he's calling them out by name, right? by the name of their father or their last name, right? Because that's actually where last names came from. That's a whole little, fun fact for another day, but that's where last names came from, right? And there's still like lots and lots of other cultures that still carry the last name of their father, right? And I think even in Japan, it's like you are the son of, like my name is Kiki, son of, right? That's how I would say my name. So that tradition is still carried through. So that's how we're looking at this as he's calling out these names of their fathers. It's almost like he's calling out the last names of these tribes, right? And he's blessing them one by one, blessing them with increase, blessing them to be full, right? That's their increase, to have abundance of life, right? Asking God to go before them and win battles and help them to execute judgment and do all of these great and wonderful things, right? Chapter 34, verse 1. And Moses went up from the plains of Moab unto the mountain of Nebo to the top of Pisgah, that is over against Jericho. And the Lord showed him all the land of Gilead unto Dan, and all Naphtali, and land of Ephraim and Manasseh, and all the land of Judah unto the utmost sea, and the south, and the plain of the valley of Jericho, the city of palm trees, unto Zoar. Woo, beautiful. And the Lord said unto him, this is the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, saying, I will give it unto thy seed. I have caused thee to see it with thine eyes, but thou shalt not go over thither. You can't go over there, but you can look at it. So Moses, the servant of the Lord, died there in the land of Moab, according to the word of the Lord. And he buried him in a valley in the land of Moab, over against Beth Peor. But no man knoweth of his sepulchre unto this day. That ain't y'all business. I like to do a lot of grave digging. I watch a lot of documentaries, and these folks have no respect. They will dig up a grave in a minute. Okay, so listen, that ain't none of y'all business. All right, to try to be finding out where Moses is buried. Verse 7. And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eye was not dim, nor his natural force abated. My man's was in perfect health. Okay? Perfect health. His eyes weren't dim, meaning he wasn't blind, right? And his natural force abated. Nor his natural force abated. He was in great shape. He had natural force, honey. He could do it himself. He didn't need no canes, no walkers, no nothing. So God really, really kept this man. He really kept this man. And the children of Israel wept for Moses in the plains of Moab 30 days. So the days of weeping and mourning for Moses were ended. And Joshua the son of Nun was full of the spirit of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands upon him, and the children of Israel hearkened unto him. So they listened to him and did as the Lord commanded Moses. And there arose not a prophet since Israel like unto Moses, whom the Lord knew face to face. My God. Can you imagine not only having, because everybody's story, everybody gets written down, every let me not go revelations on y'all. Let's just bring it back. Let me just bring it back to this verse right here. We was about to start going to the left just a little bit, and I don't want to shock anybody. We're gonna bring it out of Revelations. We're gonna come back here. I had a thought, but it was going to connect to something way down the line. We'll bring it back home. Let's just talk about the fact that he knew God face to face. Can you imagine having your name written in any book, and it says you knew God face to face? Not you knew God face to face. Excuse me. The Lord knew you. Whew. Face to face. That is beautiful. That is absolutely beautiful. Because let me tell you why it's really, really beautiful. Now, I won't go as far as Revelations, but we'll take it to Matthew. Because Jesus said, a lot of people are going to cry out and say, God, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. And God is going to say, depart from me, I never knew you. I keep trying to tell y'all it's about relationship. He wants to know you. Know you. Know you. So for him to say, for it to be written in this book, and it says the Lord knew him face to face. It's a whole lot of people say, I know the Lord, but does he know you? That right there, that's powerful. That is the beautiful part. Not the fact that you keep saying you know him, right? Because you also keep saying, no, just playing. You also keep saying a lot of stuff that ain't true. You know what I'm saying? You like to expound, right? But for God to say, I know you, that's the ticket. That is your ticket to a wonderful eternal life in the presence of God. Goodness gracious. Oh man, that's so beautiful. Did I finish this or did I stop there because that was so great? I don't know. Let's just read verse 11 and 12. And all the signs and wonders which the Lord sent him to do in the land of Egypt to Pharaoh and to all his servants and to all his land, and in all that mighty hand, and in all the great terror which Moses showed in the sight of Israel. Wow. Now that is a heck of a legacy. Some of y'all are trying so hard, and I ain't gonna even say some of y'all. I'll say some of us. Well, I have to put it in the past for me. Because I learned my lesson. It was a hard lesson. I got knocked upside the back of the head by it. But hey, at least I learned, right? But going after legacy in the form of all of it, oh, I wanted all this money or all this fame or all of this, whatever it is you're trying to do, this stuff that will one day go away. It's not going to be forever. It's going to go away. That is not a legacy. We talked about God saying, number one, he said it to Abraham. He said, I am your exceeding reward. What greater reward is there than the Creator himself? Then he talks about the Levites not having an earthly inheritance, but having God as their inheritance. He says, I am the Levi's inheritance. Child, that's what I want. That's what I want. So there is a level of eye-opening that has to happen. There is some veils that's got to be pulled back. There is some Balaam type activity when Balaam was standing on top of that mountain. God had to peel back the layers off of his eyes and show him some stuff. That is the amount of revelation that has to come upon you to understand that there is no greater reward than God himself. There is no greater reward than God himself than to be able to have your name written down in any book. I want to say the book of life so bad, but in any book. And it says, whom the Lord knew face to face. God, if I don't do nothing else on this planet, I don't care. I need you to know me. I need God to know me. Whew. That is absolutely incredible. We have just read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. We have just read the first 5 books of the Bible. These first 5 books of the Bible are so important. They are considered the Torah in Jewish religion. These are the Mosaic law. These are the books of Moses. And they are powerful, absolutely powerful. These books are often skipped. They are all, hey, let's just keep it real. It's a whole lot of who begat who. And it's like, what? How you pronounce that? It's a whole lot of, right? There's also a whole lot of laws that we don't follow anymore. We're not stoning people anymore. All right. So it's like, people kind of feel like, and continue, and scene. Let's move on. You know what I mean? So, what we have learned by reading through cover to cover each of these books is we have pulled out the character of God. We have understood God's relationship with his people. We have been able to call out the merciful God, the glorious God, the wonderful God. We have been able to call out all of these things that God is, as far as him being the creator and the author and the finisher of everything, calling out God the architect, calling out God the physician, calling out God the engineer, calling out God the designer, calling out God, like everything that God is, right? We have understood his vision for the future, right? Some people think, oh, you got to start in Matthew to start reading about Jesus. You can start in Genesis and start reading about Jesus. There are so many gems and prophecies and words that God has in these first 5 books that foreshadow him coming down as Jesus Christ on this earth to die for us, right? To save us, to rescue us. That is how he first introduced it to Abraham. He said he's going to save the families of the world. So these first 5 books are crucial. These are also the first 5 books, speaking of Jesus Christ, that Jesus is challenged on by the Pharisees. Once we get to Matthew and all of that, Mark, Luke, and John, they challenged him on Moses' law because this is what they have been living by. This is, God told them, write these things down, write the testimony, write the 10 commandments, right? Write all of these standards and make sure these are reread all the time, right? The Levites, who are in charge of the tabernacle and everything, they're supposed to read it all the time. Then Moses comes behind that and says, make sure this is read every 7 years, right? Everybody needs to sit together and read this every 7 years. So, first of all, Sarge, I love it. Sarge said this is the first time seeing the first 5 books read like a Tubi movie. I'm not sure whether to take that as a compliment, Sarge. I'll take it as a compliment. I love it. I absolutely love it. But these are the first 5 books of the Bible that they challenged him on constantly, right? So we got an up close personal look. Oh, the good ones. Okay, there's some good ones on there. And we got an up close personal look during our little Tubi movie, right? At the character of God in these first 5 books. We have a foundation. And that is what is so important. When you are establishing a relationship with someone, you need a foundation. Child, you just can't come over here and say, love me. I don't know you. That's kind of creepy. All right. So let me get to know you. Let me check. Let me ask you some questions. How do you feel about children? You know what I mean? What happened in your past? Did your mom and daddy love you right? Did you get enough hugs, honey? If you didn't, did you do therapy? What's going on with you? How you think? What's going on in that mind? You know what I mean? How do you feel about forgiveness? What's going on with you? I need to know who you are before you can just come on over and talk about trying to be in a relationship with me. I got some questions, right? And so I can build a foundation so that I can trust you, and then we can talk about love. And it's the same thing with God. It's the same thing that we're building with God. We got questions. We need a foundation. How does God feel about me? Why does God love me like this? God is always providing for me. I did all of these exercises. I've been in the Bible studies. I've done the think pieces. I've done the exercises. I've done the survival mode exercise, right? Where I'm coming out of survival mode, where I'm writing down how God has delivered me throughout my life. And how do I wrap my mind around somebody that has this type of character? That is gracious, that is forgiving, that is loving. How do I wrap my mind around someone who has a character of justice? They don't make decisions based on emotions and whether they had enough to eat today. God is justice. So every decision he makes is just, right? And then you build this foundation of trust because you know God's character is not going to change, period, ever. He is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. You understand the things that he hates, the things that he loves, and you start to understand that his standard for you is only to save you from yourself, right? Rescue you from evil, keep you in Goshen, right? As we talked about Goshen being God's protection for his people, while Egypt was getting bombarded, baby, with plagues and all kind of craziness. So God had Goshen for his people. And it's like he still operates that way. We see all of the craziness going on in the world, and God still has Goshen for his people. We're still protected. For some reason, it don't really affect me. The eggs cost ridiculous. I ain't never paid five, $6, $7, $8 for a carton of eggs. It's crazy. But I'm still buying eggs, and my budget is not affected. I'm in Goshen. You know what I mean? Like, we don't think about it that way. But it's true. We get in a car every day, and the first thing we think about getting in the car is our playlist, honey. You don't even think about whether you get into an accident or not. Thank you so much, Francis. I appreciate you. But you never even think about getting into an accident. That's not your thought. Your first thought is, this song has been on my mind. Let me go ahead and let me turn this up a little bit. Let me turn this up a little bit so we can bump on out of here. I can bump on out the driveway. You know what I mean? You don't even think about the fact that God has you in Goshen, keeping you protected from all of these accidents, from all these crazy drivers weaving in and out. But God is the same today, tomorrow. And so you start to build this foundation for who he is. And you like, he's wonderful like this. You build that foundation and you get that trust. And you see how he's operated with his people at this point in our history. And you say, well, if he did all of that for them, I don't even need no Red Seas parted for me. All I need is a new job. So if God can part the Red Sea and allow food to rain from heaven, and all I need is a new job, I know he can do it. I know it's coming. I'ma relax. I know it's coming. I know I'm good. Right? Because you see what God has done. And now we get into Joshua. Woo. Now we exit from Moses' law, right? We exit from that and we enter into Joshua. Now, that doesn't mean that the people aren't going to be abiding by Moses' law. They are still going to be abiding by Moses' law. We will see many examples of these consequences that Moses was saying come to pass. We will see many examples of them still celebrating the holiday, still acknowledging God, still, having priests above them, right? Prophets above them who are giving them the word of God and adding to and all of the things, right? So when I say we're kind of exiting that, I mean from our vantage point of being able to look back thousands of years, we can kind of compartmentalize and say, okay, so this was that period. And now we're entering into a new period with a new leader, Joshua. And Joshua is going to be leading the people. So let's go ahead and start with chapter 1. I cannot believe that we are doing this, y'all. We are really reading through The Holy Bible. Like for real, for real. Okay. Let's finish our cover to cover read tonight with chapter 1 of Joshua. Chapter 1, verse 1. Now, after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now, therefore, arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people unto the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. So we're going to pause for a second. We established who Joshua was. I think it was like late last week. We kind of ran down his little resume, right? Little baby Josh, right? So God is going to be using Joshua, and it says right here, Moses minister. And we did witness Joshua always there. He didn't say much, he didn't do much, but he was there. And that is the mark, number one, of a wise man. Because if you are supposed to be learning up under someone, you are in any capacity supposed to be absorbing whatever it is that they have, knowledge, wisdom, talent, whatever, right? And you can't keep your mouth closed, honey. You're not going to get much. You're not going to get much out of that experience. Your mouth is open, right? It's like the Cam Newton interview that he did with Mr. Jason. I love Mr. Jason. When I saw that Mr. Jason went on that interview, I was a little mad because I'm just like, Mr. Jason, don't cast your pearls before swine. You know what I mean? And everybody said it. It's like, how can you sit with this wise man of God, and your mouth is open? You need to be quiet. You need to sit. You need to absorb. You need to be present, right? Be present. Understand your position when you are in the presence of wisdom. When you are in the presence of greatness, your position is to be quiet. Your position is to listen. It's to absorb. It's to be absolutely present so that you don't miss nothing. Right? So Joshua has been that. He has been there. Whenever we were reading through, it was like Joshua was like a footnote. And it's like, oh, there goes Joshua again. Oh, there goes Joshua again. Right? And so we even witnessed him being assigned to go forward and take him on that first battle. Right? And Joshua, through the grace of God, won that battle as Moses had his hands supported by Hur and Aaron. And so Joshua has always been there, listening, understanding, right? And I'm sure in times he was asking the right questions and all of the things, right? We don't have context for that, but he was there as an apprentice, as one of Moses' ministers. I'm sure he had questions and all types of, I'm sure they had great conversations, right? But when you are in the presence of wisdom, when you are in the presence of wise counsel, the best thing to do is to be a footnote until your time comes, right? Be a footnote so that you can get all that you are supposed to get. So that we kind of established that Joshua has been there, right? He was even sent as one of the scouts with Caleb to go check out the land, right? He was sent there. And he was one of the only ones with Caleb out of the 12 that were sent. Those two, Joshua and Caleb, were the only ones that was like, y'all, God got something sweet for us, baby. Right? Like they was ready. Their hands was itching. You know, they said, like the old folks say, money must be coming my way. My hands itching. I'm ready. I'm ready for that check. Did you check the mail? Somebody go get the mail. It might be a check in there. You know what I mean? Like they were ready. They were ready. So he also, we got a picture of his character very early on, right? He trusted God. He believed God. It was nothing to it. He sent us over there to go look at it. It looked good. What we waiting on? You know what I'm saying? Everybody else came back scared and afraid, naked and afraid. Them two, they came back Hey, hands is itching. All right, let's go get it. God said it was ours. When? Okay. So we got a picture of his character as well, that trust, that leaning in that he did, not just to Moses, but to God as well, right? Okay, let's continue to read verse 3. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that I have given unto you, as I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. Listen, whew, what a blessing. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so will I be with thee. Oh, my goodness. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Are y'all green highlighters out? Yes or no? Because this is who God is. I told y'all God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. I am going to highlight verse 5 in green for the character of God. I'm just highlighting verse 5 in green for the character of God, because his character don't change. He said he had a promise for the children of Israel since Abraham. He made sure they made it so that they could get the promise. He said, Moses, don't worry about it. I'm going to appoint Joshua. I'm going to continue to use Joshua to go through, to go or to deliver word to the people, make sure the people good. He is a God. When it comes to, look, I ain't even spoken a whole sentence in like 45 seconds. I just can't. I just can't, because God is just so amazing. My brain is moving faster than my mouth. He's so amazing. He told Moses, I got the people. Don't worry about this. And then he comes behind that. Now, Moses can't see this, but this is why it's so important to establish a foundation of who God's character is, because I guarantee you Moses trusted it. Moses knew it was going to come to pass. He knew that he was going to end up blessing Joshua. And it says, as I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. That is beautiful on so many levels. From Moses' perspective, because God loved Moses, he called him meek, right? And he made sure that he had all these beautiful, wonderful experiences with him. And Moses was so worried about the people, always worried about the people. God said, don't worry about him. I'm going to appoint the next man. And he does that, even in Moses' absence. God is not the kind to wait till you turn your back and then be like, cool, ain't got to do that no more. God is not like that. That's how humans act, but God don't act like that. Moses died, he passed, he did what God instructed him to do. He had a wonderful, beautiful relationship with God. And even still, God carried his word on. He did not let his word fall to the ground. He said he was going to continue to support the people of Israel, give them another prophet, and he did. God is so great. He don't let his word fall. Verse 6, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land, which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Again, God keeping his word. This is the character of God right here. If he says it, that settles it. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. Wherever you go, honey, you gonna prosper. This book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night. This should be on your mind all the time. that thou mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. And then thou shalt make thy way prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. See, God's definition of success, honey, and our definition of success is too far off. Too far off. Because I guarantee you, if you just give up your definition of success, if you just give it up, just give it 6 months, just give it up and say, God, I want your definition of success. Child, you're going to forget everything you thought you want. You just going to be like, never mind. Never mind. I didn't know what I was asking for. Never mind. Yep, I'll take this. I'll take what God has for me. Have not I commanded thee? Be strong and of good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, so now God has made an end of speaking to Joshua. For the time being, Joshua turns to the officers of the people. Pass through the host and command the people, saying, prepare the victuals, for within 3 days ye shall pass over this Jordan to go in to possess the land which the Lord your God giveth you to possess. No hesitation, honey. Let's get to it. And to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, spake Joshua, saying, remember the word which Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, saying, the Lord your God hath given you rest, and hath given you this land. Your wives, your little ones, your cattle shall remain in the land which Moses gave you on this side of Jordan. But ye shall pass before your brethren armed, all the mighty men of valor, and help them. Pause. So we got these tribes, right? The ones that carry the last name of Reuben, Gad, and Manasseh, right? They specifically said, we don't want to go nowhere no more. This is where we're going to be at. At the end of the journey, y'all, we didn't even break that down. I ain't got time tonight. But how do you get to the end of the journey right where God said, there's your promise, and you say, skip it, I don't even want it? What? It's right there. You can taste it. And they still have to fight for it because Moses said, oh, no. Y'all not gonna back down now when we got the biggest battle ahead of us. We have to fight for that land. So y'all gonna help us fight. And then they said, okay, we'll help you fight for it, but then we're gonna come back home. That's crazy. Can you imagine how twisted in your thinking you have to be to get to the end of the journey, right where God says, this is the promise, right here you go, you can have it, and you say, nah, that's okay. Child, just crazy. So he reminds them, y'all still gonna help us get that land, and then y'all can do whatever y'all want to do. You can't go over there though. Once y'all see how beautiful and glorious it is, and after we conquer it and all of the things that God said, going back home. That's what you wanted. That's what you settled for. You didn't want what God had. So settle for your little mess over there. Settle for what you going over there. Verse 15, until the Lord have given your brethren rest, as he hath given you, and they also have possessed the land which the Lord your God giveth them, then you, or ye, shall return unto the land of your possession and enjoy it, which Moses the Lord's servant gave you on this side of Jordan toward the sun rising. And they answered Joshua, saying, all that thou commandest us we will do, and whithersoever thou sendest us we will go, according as we hearkened unto Moses in all things, so will we hearken unto thee. Only the Lord thy God be with thee, as he was with Moses. Whatsoever he be that doth rebel against thy commandment, and will not hearken unto the words in all that thou commandest him, he shall be put to death. Only be strong and of good courage. So there is a reiteration there at the end. So they say, okay, yeah, we'll go ahead. We'll go to battle with you, and then we'll come back home. Right? God bless you. Right? Kind of God bless you. Right? And whoever don't want to do it, don't worry. We'll cut them off at the knees. Right? So this is the establishment I love that we were able to touch on this on this first chapter at the end of Deuteronomy, because I just want us to have examples of what it looks like to love God well. I didn't say do well, to love God well. To love God well. Joshua has been with the children of Israel. He has witnessed all of this glory and wonder as he has basically been a young Padawan, a young apprentice of Moses. And he's young, right? So he didn't witness everything, right? But he witnessed enough, and it built a basis for God's character with Joshua. Joshua knows the character of God because he was paying attention to the things that God was doing. He didn't take it for granted or, yeah, whatever. That's just manna. That's just sweet honey bread raining from heaven every day and twice on Fridays. Oh, that's just the Spirit of God. Don't worry about that over there. Like, he didn't take it for granted. He didn't make it commonplace. He used that as a foundation for who God was. He knows God as the provider. He knows that God speaks directly. He knows that God has a standard for his people. He has this foundation for who God is. He had wise counsel. So he was able to be in community with Moses, whatever that looked like. We can imagine that might not have looked like him asking questions and them having great and deep conversations. Maybe Moses sharing some of the experiences that he had one-on-one with God, and he's sharing that with Joshua, and Joshua sitting there like, wow. We can imagine. We can only imagine. But because Joshua was paying attention to what God was doing, he did not take for granted that he had wise counsel sitting right there in front of him. He used that wise counsel. He asked questions. He was sitting in the presence. He was making sure he was there. He couldn't go all the way up the mountain, but he was like halfway at the mountain, like, I'll be here when he get here. You know what I mean? Like he was smart about it. So he built this foundation and understood God's character. And then that just leads to trust. Absolute trust. I've seen it too many times. Speaking as Joshua's seen it too many times. He's seen God come through so many times. He's seen Moses frustrated. He's seen God come and rescue Moses when he was frustrated. He's seen Moses ask for help, and then 70 men break out in other tongues because God has put his spirit on them and given them wisdom. He's seen all of this stuff. I have a foundation to know that when God turns to me and starts talking to me, if I have an assignment, if somebody point to me, God said, I'm gonna do it. And he does. Without question, without fail, God speaks to him. What does it say? Be strong and of good courage. My man turns to the people and says, we leave in 3 days. Child, what? No preparation. He said, God is our preparation. God is going to lead us. He had a foundation because he was paying attention to what God was doing. Some of us don't have a foundation in order to trust God, in order to love God, not because God isn't there, because you're not paying attention. Pay attention. Stop. Close your mouth, right? We talked about that just a few minutes ago. Close your mouth. You're saying too much. You're doing too much. You keep arguing. God is trying to tell you one thing. Your wise counsel is trying to tell you one thing. God has put beautiful people in your life. Beautiful meaning on the inside, right? He's put these beautiful people in your life. He told you, get in church, do this and do that. You're so busy arguing and coming up with excuses and saying why you can't and saying how your traumas is holding you back. You're not paying attention to what God is doing in your life. And so when it's time for you to move, you don't have no foundation to say you trust God. Not because God isn't there, not because God isn't working, not because God isn't wonderful. He is all of those things, all of the above. The problem is that you aren't paying attention. You're not paying attention. Joshua has been paying attention for years. And he said, clocked it. We leave at dawn. We riding out. Tell you, hide your kids, hide your wife, because we ride out. Okay? God said, let's go. It was that easy for him. Why? Because he'd been paying attention. I'm telling y'all, the problem is that you're just not paying attention. God is all of the above. He has done all of the above. His character is all of the above. And you're just not paying attention. You have not been Joshua. You was Korah. Right? Take us all the way back to Korah. When he was like, hey, look, who died and made you king? You got all of this stuff to say. You sound like Cam Newton. That's who you are. You are Cam Newton. You thought you was Mr. Jason. You're not Mr. Jason. You Cam Newton. You ain't got no wisdom. You talk too much. You got your traumas is talking louder than your wisdom, child. They just are. And you think it's all wisdom, and it's not. All we see is trauma and insecurity and how you just don't think you're enough, because God said go do it. But you have all of these excuses of why you can't, which means you don't view yourself the way God views you. God knows what you're capable of. You don't. So that just means your insecurities is exposed now. Oh, I can't do that. I ain't doing that because such blah, blah, blah. And you got all of these excuses that make you sound big and bad, but all we see is insecurity. Because if you saw yourself the way God sees you, or if you just trusted God, maybe you can't see nothing. Child, I can't see half the stuff, but I just trust God. I'm just going to go forward. I'm not going to let anything stop me. Joshua didn't let anything stop him. He got that assignment. He said, we ride out at dawn. Okay? 3 days. 3 days is what we got. You're not paying attention. Joshua has been paying attention for years. He took advantage of everything God placed in his life. All of the beautiful resources, all of those wise men sitting around and making sure he was right there with Moses, making sure that he was paying attention to the blessings and to the wonders. He was ready. He was ready to be called on when he needed a leader for battle, ready to be called on when he needed a spy to go into the land of Canaan. He was right there, ready every single time. He was ready and paying attention. And when his time came, ready to go. Just like that. Let's go. Wrap this thing up. We going over there to the, hey, you look real comfortable. Get up, wrap all that up. We going over there. Don't nobody get comfortable over here. We riding out. I don't know what y'all thought this was. Let's go. God said it was ours. Right? So this is so important. This transition, this passing of the torch is so important for us today as we're looking at this time in our history to say, wow, Joshua was right there, but paying attention. Mouth closed, eyes open, ears open, slow to speak, quick to listen. Right? Joshua was right there. Whatever God called on him to do, whatever Moses called on him to do, he did his little task, his little in-betweeners, right? No matter how big, no matter how small. He was right there. He was ready. He was paying attention with all of these things that helped build Joshua up, build Joshua's character, right? Sometimes we don't even realize that the things that even the little tiny things, the little tiny assignments, the little in-betweens is building our character. So he built his character up so that he could one day hear God's voice. He said, what? We leave in 3 days. I was just waiting on God to tell me, don't have no fear. I'm not sure he had to tell him, don't have no fear. I don't remember Joshua having no fear. Joshua has been ready to go since he was a spy. And that was 40 years ago. So listen, pay attention. Pay attention to the things that God is doing in your life, you have no idea what he is setting you up for. And I'm not saying you about to lead thousands of saints. Now calm down. Calm down. Because you don't want, trust me, you don't want this life. You don't want this life. Trust me. This right here, Moses was screaming at the clouds. He said, God, take me now. I can't take it. Listen, trust me. I'm not saying you about to be captain over thousands. I'm just saying pay attention to what God is doing in your life so that you can be ready to ride out when he says it's time to go, it's time to ride. You can have trust, you can have faith. So when he says, this is your husband, this is your wife, you can trust and you can have faith and not ruin it and crash and burn it. Right? So when he says, so when you look up and you're pregnant and your marriage, you can trust and you can have faith that God has blessed you with that and he's giving you the tools so that when God gives you a new job, whatever you can trust. Oh, God gave me this job. That means I'm about to be a star. I'm a star on this job. What? Do you know God gave this to me? I'm a star. Right? So that when he blesses you with the house and with the car, and I'm not talking about no mansion and no Maserati, calm down. I'm saying your little A to B, your little get you from A to B, right? And your little new apartment, whatever it is, you don't break down and say, God, I ain't got no money. If he blesses you with the car, if he blesses you with the new home, he'll pay for it. And you have a foundation of trust and oh, if God gave me this car, he gonna pay for it, period. I ain't paying for that. God is gonna pay for that. I'm not about to work myself to death. I'm not about to start door dashing and Amazon and after work. God is gonna pay for that. I already work. I'm gonna be diligent. I'm gonna be faithful. I'm gonna pay my tithes. And guess what? That car note is paid. The end. You need a foundation. You need to pay attention to what God is doing so that when he starts blessing you, you can handle it. And you can say, oh, this came from God. Oh, we good. We good to go. We are good to go. Proceed. Proceed. Right? Because that is who God is. He just has that character. He said, I'm going to be with you. I will not forsake thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. That's the verse we highlighted in chapter 1. So pay attention to the things that God is doing so that you can know his character. And when he starts to bless you and starts to assign you and starts to delegate things to you, you can just be Joshua and be like, oh, we good. We good to go. We riding out. This is God. This came from God. I've been waiting on this 40 years. 40 years. Joshua has been waiting on this. So that is our think piece for tonight. We had a fun one tonight. We were able to close out Deuteronomy and get into Joshua. This transition, such a beautiful transition as well, reading chapter 1. So tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will pick up in chapter 2 of Joshua. I'm so excited. Let me tell you how excited I was. I was so excited. I was watching TV today and I was just making a little thumbnail for Joshua and making all of our little I was just like, we're getting into Joshua today. I was so excited. So we will pick back up tomorrow, chapter 2 for Joshua. At this point, you have the very famous 60 seconds to hit the follow button. Hit the follow button so that I don't get lost in the sauce of your algorithm, because this cover to cover Bible read is so fun. It's so exciting. It's so information packed. It's so jam packed, full of love and God's grace. It's packed full of everything, honey. It's just packed. Okay. And we're going to unpack it. We are unpacking it in this cover to cover read. We are having so much fun as we do it too. And all of the Bible studies are saved. So if you're new or you're like, oh, I'm going to miss a couple nights or whatever, life happens, right? We have a YouTube channel as well. So you can use the link in my bio to go directly to the YouTube and subscribe. You can catch up. You can watch at your leisure. But all of these Bible studies are saved on the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Disciples on Purpose. So Don't forget, Disciples on Purpose is the YouTube channel. Hit the link in my bio to subscribe so that you can be sure to catch up, watch all of these at your leisure, and say that you did a cover to cover read of the Holy Bible and understood it, right? That's the point. That's also the point, to understand it. So I'm so excited that we're building this community up. Definitely hit that follow button in this last 30 seconds so that I don't get lost in the saucy algorithm. We will be right back here tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, picking up exactly where we left off. I love y'all with the love of Jesus. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Y'all have a great night.